what's up? It's your boy Devin Styles, aka Nerd Boy, aka Dark Skin Pretty Boy, aka Luke Ribcage, aka Stilo Dev, aka Devin Zoolander, coming at you all the way live from my domicile. And I'm feeling so good right now because I want to talk to you about the 30th anniversary of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I'm so happy to talk to you about that today because it was one of my favorite shows growing up. I'm talking Will, Uncle Phil, Aunt Viv, Carlton, Hillary, Ashley, Jeffrey, and I guess Lil Nicky too. But I'm gonna talk to you about all these things today. So sit back and relax and let's get into this. All right, let's do it. Watching the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion, it gave me all of the feels, especially when they started showing clips of James Avery, the actor that portrayed Uncle Phil, and the whole cast started tearing up. I mean, I started tearing up. First things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. Like, that's my dude. That's the only father that I ever knew. Well, actually, I do have a dad in real life, and he's pretty cool, but on TV, it was all about Uncle Phil. And while I was happy to see everybody gather in the Banks family living room one more time, at the same time, I gotta say the most fascinating part of the whole show was a sit-down conversation between Will Smith and Janet Hubert, aka the OG Aunt Viv. So now let's talk about this. So when Janet left the show back in 1993, a lot of shots were being thrown between Will and Janet. And I gotta be real, they've been beefing for like 27 years. So in other words, they've been beefing since I was teething, you feel me? Me? Anyway, before the reunion, I assumed that Janet was bitter because the show was still successful even after she left. But after watching her speak about what she was going through personally in season 3, I discovered the truth. And the truth is that Janet was pregnant while being married to an abusive, unemployed husband. Let that marinate for a second. Dude was being abusive to one of our most beloved matriarchs in television history, and he ain't had no money. What? You ain't got no money, nigga? But going back to what she was going through, she's dealing with all of this in season 3. And as a result of all that hell and drama she was going through off camera, that impacted the way she was with the cast when she was on set. She wasn't smiling with them anymore. She wasn't joking. She wasn't being disrespectful. She just was keeping to herself. And that started to rub the cast members the wrong way. And mainly, it rubbed Will the wrong way. And Will and Janet, even before she left in season 3, it was difficult for them to work together for whatever reason. But when you watch this special on HBO, you'll see that Will actually admits that he made the environment on set very difficult for Janet. On top of everything that she was going through at home, the Fresh Prince offered her a really bad contract. And the specifics of that contract are your role is going to be diminished in season 3, you're going to have a reduced salary, and you can't work any other acting jobs. So they were really trying to get her to re-up for season 4 with a really bad deal after her role was already being diminished in season 3. And after all that, she said, unemployed husband, young child, I started a business, I gotta peace out, I gotta leave y'all. So the myth is that Janet was fired, but the reality is that she just declined an offer. However, language matters. Soon after she left the show, Will went on a radio show and he started saying, yeah, she was jealous of me because I was a snotty-nosed kid and she had been acting for 10 years and I already am more successful than her. And she wanted the show to be the Aunt Viv of Bel-Air show. That's what Will was saying. And I don't think he realized the damage that he was doing to her reputation when he said these things. In the season 4 premiere episode, Jazz told the new Aunt Viv, portrayed now by Daphne Maxwell Reid, you know, there's something different about you. And as he said this, Will broke the fourth wall, looked into the camera, started smirking, and that caused the audience to roar in laughter. And If I'm Janet Hubert and I'm seeing this take place, then I feel some type of way. I didn't understand it at the time what the big deal was, but now that I'm older, I see why Janet felt so disrespected, not only by Will, but by the writers. Things got so bad, Janet said the black community disowned her. Her own family disowned her. They said, "You've brought disgrace to our name by leaving this show. You embarrassed the family." She's dealing with all this with an abusive husband, with a young child, starting a business, and she can't find any work in Hollywood. And the only thing she ever really did was she did a cameo on the Jamie Foxx show where she played Edwina Dubois, and she also was on an episode of Friends, and she played Chandler's boss, and she told him, "Yeah, you gotta move to Tulsa, Oklahoma." You know, that's where Black Wall Street is. Anyway, we don't have to talk about that now. As I watched this, I couldn't help but think about Monique and everything that she's been fighting for the past few years with Netflix lowballing her and with the Hollywood industry blackballing her. And you know, this reminded me a lot of when JJ Jimmy Walker, he accused his cast members on Good Times of being jealous of him because you got the young silly guy that's taking all of the shine and popularity. Meanwhile, you have these veteran actors that they want more respect, but they're not getting it on the show because all the storylines focus around them. So I noticed that parallel between JJ and Esther Rolle and John Amos and Will Smith and Janet Hubert. I understand that the role of Aunt Viv should have never been recast. However, I'm not here for the shade that gets thrown to Daphne Maxwell Reid. Yes, we've seen dark-skinned actresses recast with light-skinned actresses on popular black sitcoms before. I know we've seen this. However, we have to give Daphne her respect and recognize that she did the best she could with what the writers would allow her to do. Even before Janet left the show, the writers had already reduced her storylines. When the show first started, and Janet Hubert was being Aunt Viv was a multi-dimensional professor, former ballet dancer, and a civil rights activist. That's what she was in like the first season and the second season. But somewhere along the line, she became the irritable pregnant woman that deferred to Uncle Phil. When it came to raising the kids, Uncle Phil was doing all of that. He was the one that was having those moments with Will or with Carlton or with Ashley or with Hillary. And a lot of times, Aunt Viv wouldn't even be present. And that's a far cry from the person that we thought that Aunt Viv was, or that we saw that Aunt Viv was in season 1 and season 2. Basically, Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv went from being a tag team to being more of a solo act, with Aunt Viv being basically Uncle Phil's sidekick. And that's definitely problematic when I look back on it. By the time Daphne got there, the role of Aunt Viv had diminished completely. And there just wasn't any coming back because the audience, they just wanted more Will, they wanted more Carlton, they wanted more Uncle Phil. But Aunt Viv, who was someone, at first, if you want to use a basketball analogy, who could probably get 30 points or 20 and 10, she was reduced to just being a three-point shooter, a stretch four, if you will. Chris Bosh! But like I said, Janet deserves respect and Daphne deserves respect. Let me tell you why. Janet is a Juilliard-trained, Emmy Award-winning actress that followed in the footsteps of Claire Huxtable, who was the original professional black matriarch. Did you know that Janet was in the original Broadway production of Cats? Did you know that? Janet, she's official. Daphne is an accomplished photographer and designer, in addition to being an actress. And if that's not cool enough, she co-founded New Millennium Studios with her husband, actor Tim Reed, better known as the father on Sister Sister, Ray Campbell. And they founded this studio to put more black faces on screen. So not only is she accomplished as far as been acting for like 50 years, but she also was putting on for her own people. How can y'all throw shade at Daphne Maxwell Reid? Had the writers of The Fresh Prince given Daphne more to work with, then I have no doubt that she would have delivered a more memorable performance. But that's not what happened. Anyway, 2020 is the year of truces. Nas pieced it up with Cormega so that the original Firm members could come back together and perform on the song Full Circle on Nas's latest album, King's Disease. Go get that. The album is dope. Not only did Nas piece it up with Cormega after they were beefing for a minute, Brandy and Monica pieced it up at Versus. Even Jeezy and Gucci pieced it up at the last Versus battle. I say, ooh, I know you haven't, so I say. Have you ever been icy without any ice? That's me. Everybody's piecing it up. And now we got Will and OG and Viv piecing it up. You know what the moral of 2020 is? Life is short, piece it up. Yeah. So I really enjoyed watching the reunion episode, and I just hope that we can get Janet Hubert and Daphne Maxwell Reid to sit down and have a conversation that we can all watch, because I'm sure if we heard from them, we would realize that they know that the role of Aunt Viv, as powerful as she was, it could have been so much more powerful had the writers seen the vision to give both actresses more meat on their characters' bones. This has been another vlog with your boy, Devin Styles, aka Nerd Boy, aka Dark Skin Pretty Boy, aka Luke Ribcage, aka Stilo Dev, coming all the way live at you. Please let me know what you think about this video and the reunion episode of Fresh Prince in the comments. Peace.